She's back with a new a new color, a new style, a new look. If you know where that's from, then we can be friends. But welcome back, TTP. It's your girl, it's your fave, Miss Faith. Big Motion, Miss Motion. The biggest CEO of the biggest CEOs. What are you talking about? But yeah, y'all, your girl is back. Y'all see my natural hair. I promise y'all, under all them braids, there do be some hair. She getting a little long too. She's starting to get, you know what I'm saying? My we had class today. As y'all know, I started cosmetology school recently, and one of my classmates, she did for me. Like, she did such a good job. She gave me such a nice trim. My hair is just so bouncy and flowy. I love it. But hey, we are back at it again, and of course, we're going to continue with our seven deadly sin series. I think the only one we've done so far is lust, but today, y'all, we will be talking about anger and wrath, aka wrath, whatever. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned and book with your girl. Y'all already know Social Styles LLC. Let's get into it. Hello. Hi. Hello. So TPP. Oh, TPP. TTP. Hello. Welcome back, TTP. I missed you guys so much. This isn't gonna be a long video because I feel like this is something that's pretty straightforward. But obviously it doesn't hurt to touch on it and expand and expound on what it could mean in different scenarios and for different people. But today, seven deadly sin we'll be talking about is anger or wrath. I feel like this is a this is a category where I have shown an immense amount of growth in child. Because you know a little bit about me, I'm a little fire sign, guys, and I can be a firecracker. But I am usually very stern, yes, but very nurturing, loving, and understanding. But we all have that version of ourselves that can be helpful at times because sometimes, or more often than not, when you have balance within yourself, that version of you or that shadow side of you is something that can give you strength in those times where you need it and where you need to be a little bit more in your masculine energy, per se, in terms of being more direct about what you want in life and how you want to be treated in life. Hello. But yeah, so today we are talking about anger. If you know me, I was in therapy for about 3 years off and on in my life. I went through a lot super young. Uh, really been going through it since like last year. Shit. But yeah, I'm 24, just freshly 24 as of a couple weeks ago. But my journey, like where I am today, some might see it and think stuff happened overnight. But anyone that actually knows me and knows about my history and a little bit of what I've spoken about my life, understand that this baby, this character, this body, this face, blessed, but it has not come without lessons. It has not come without discipline. It has not come without obedience. Heavy on obedience and discipline. But yeah, y'all, like when I tell you, like, I used to be so angry. This is probably the first time in my life since I was like a little kid that I've felt true peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, and peace doesn't mean, oh, like nothing ever happens. It's even when things happen, you know that you are strong and you can stand still in the presence of God because you know He's always with you. And you know that His peace is covering you and not allowing anything going around you to affect you because He's moving everything around and shifting everything around for your good and not to harm you. The Bible verse I literally just posted today. I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you, in Jeremiah something. But yeah, like God's plan can be hard to understand because we don't. His thoughts are not our thoughts, and when I say that, his thoughts fully encapsulate every detail that could be possibly found in a situation, right? But for us, we can only understand as far as we see and as far as our understanding allows us to comprehend what we've seen, right? So I feel like anger is just such a superficial emotion that can cause so much harm when not regulated by obedience and discipline. And like I said, I'm a firecracker. And a part of that is because I had to learn how to have strong boundaries because I used to be a really bad people pleaser. Like real bad, like very bad guys. And for me, it was always more of like I didn't want to, because I know the fire that I have within me, it was a thing of always overly concerning myself with the thoughts and the feelings of those around me in hopes of not being judged for what I know I can see within myself. Not that what was going on inside me was due to anything or due to who I was or karma or anything. It was really just a situation that I had to live through or situations that I had to live through. And had to learn how to heal from, so I didn't harbor anger for what had already happened. You know what I'm saying? For me, and that's just not like one particular situation. I've just been through a lot. And I feel like when you go through a lot, because life can happen to anybody at any time in life. So sometimes it's like when it starts to pile on, doesn't seem like, oh, I just went through this. Feels like I just went through this, and then I went through this, and before that, I went through this, and this, and this. And it feels heavy on the feels, because, like I said, emotions can be superficial in terms of they can only sometimes, depending on how much we understand ourselves and how well we understand what the current version of ourselves has been through and the traits that this current version of ourselves has picked up because of what we've been through to either protect ourselves or just to further develop ourselves so we don't have to repeat certain situations. A lot of times we feel like we have to harden our hearts in order to make it through life. When life piles on, it seems like, okay, I want to look at the people who it seems like their lives are all da 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 da. And a lot of times, like I said, his thoughts are not our thoughts. And we cannot have access to people's minds to understand where they're coming from and what they've been through to lead up into the version of themselves that they are at that time of you meeting them. Because I feel like a lot of times, the most common situations to harbor anger from is from situations with people, people that you encounter, especially people that you grow to learn and find care for. I think it's very easy to take things personally in the sense of whatever reaction or act or reaction that they are having or whatever actions they are targeting, not targeting, whatever actions that they are sending your way, I guess. Oftentimes what I've had to learn is that a lot of things that people do and say depending on how much self control, discipline, and obedience they have, more often than not, a lot of times people are just projecting 80% of the time. 80% of the time that people are existing and having reactions to things, a lot of times it's more subconscious than conscious, only because of that lack of self awareness, that lack of discipline, that lack of obedience, the lack of self awareness, knowing why I'm doing something and understanding how what I do affects other people, the lack of discipline. Understanding why I do what I do and having the discipline to correct myself and stop myself when need be so that I do not have any harmful impacts on myself or others. Obedience, knowing when not only yourself is trying to check you, but when God is trying to check you. When God is trying to reach down and be like, hold on, child, you need to slow your roll. Because what we forget is that we are not just God's child alone, right? We're not the only ones who are God's child. And God, is a father. And the father believes in discipline. So a lot of times we're not self-aware about how our behaviors can impact other people. It's very easy to say and do things that we wouldn't necessarily consider as harmful, but have a lasting impact on other people because of a lack of self-awareness to be aware of what we're doing, a lack of self-discipline to stop ourselves when we're doing too much, and a lack of obedience when God is sending us warning signs to chill. You know, and I I've been on both sides many a time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can be a hothead. I can be a hothead. And the worst part is that people never expect it from me because 80% of the time, 90% of the time, until I get comfortable with people, y'all know, those are not new here. I'm ADHD. I sometimes mask, especially because in the industry that I work in, the hair industry, I be having my own personal things going on, right? But when I get to work, it's work. When I get to service people, I'm servicing them. They have their own problems going on. And the whole point of them coming to me is not just to get their hair done or their makeup done. The whole point of them coming to me is to have an interaction that heals a portion of them because something in the service industry just provides a certain level of healing when done properly. You know what I'm saying? We have a book that our school gave us called The Daymakers, and it teaches us that we're not just doing physical service, but we do a lot of spiritual service in what we do. So when we're interacting with people, it's not just, oh, like I'm here to do what I'm here to do and call it a day. Servicing in any manner is a energy transaction. Think of it like, okay, if you think of it as like a more of like a product service, it's like, okay, you have a vendor and then you have your clients. You have your vendor who services you, but you also purchase from them. So you have your vendor, you take from them to be able to provide for other people. Your vendor can, in this instance, would be God. God gives you the energy that you need because you are a healer, you are one of his helpers. So he gives you the energy that you need to be able to give to the person that he might have assigned for you that day. When you work in entrepreneurship, you don't just grab clients. You can't just rip somebody off the street and be like, oh, I'm going to service you today. You feel what I'm saying? God brings you people based off of their needs and your needs. So God might bring you in a client that is just the most joyful, blissful person ever to help you recharge one morning. Then the next day, you might have a client that is going through divorce, going through loss of life in whatever form or fashion that might be for them. So you having the energy that you have to be recharged can now help and bring some healing in whatever form or fashion you can in that day. So what we do matters. And I'm not just talking about the service industry. And simple interactions are the same thing. They're energy transfers. So the thing about anger is that there's another verse that says, guard your heart, for everything that you do flows from it. Anger allows a hardening around your heart, a casing around your heart that doesn't necessarily stop you from making decisions, but it almost acts as like a filter, right? And not in the best way. Because when you have such a negative filter encapsulating the space where you make your decisions from, it can be very difficult to know whether or not you're making the best decisions possible, especially when you don't have that self awareness, that discipline, and the obedience. So when it comes to that, it's like we're over here hurt ourselves because it's not always anger isn't necessarily always anger. A lot of times anger stems from hurt, unresolved hurt. And that's why anger can be such a parasite, because it's not like it's something that's just you, that's just a part of you. No, that anger comes from things that have been unresolved, that you have not been able, either by your will or just the matter of circumstance, you're just not able to resolve something, so you harbor that in you. Then you might make a decision or say something, which is still a decision, you're still deciding to speak, that might be harmful or negative simply because you weren't checking your heart space and where what you were saying and doing was flowing from. So when you have all this anger stored inside you, you have this filter of where, like, you might want to say, oh, I'm just having a bad day, but that filter causes you to say or act like, I don't like you and I don't need you around me right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not a matter of just what you say, but how you say it. Because a lot of times we get so comfortable with how we function and how we do things, we don't really always take the time to be considerate of other people and how there might be sometimes a clash in how people not only understand but also resolve situations. So I feel like anger is just such not only a filter, but it's a blockade when it comes to relationships, friendships, when it comes to growth in maybe your work development, whatever it may be. That anger is like a holstered gun. You feel what I'm saying? It's like it's there. It can go off at any time. Not a holstered gun, maybe a gun without the safety on. Sorry, y'all. My granddaddy was in the army. I'm a gun girl. Sorry. But yeah, like, I feel that at times it's like walking around with a blicky without safety on, right? It's like it's there, and you technically have control, because if you keep it holstered, then sure, like, as long as you don't make any wrong moves, you'll be fine. But if you mess around and you fall or you hit a something and that trigger just so happens to pull because that safety is not on, then what happens? You shoot yourself in the foot, depending on where it's aimed. You know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, that temperament, that knowing how to regulate your emotions, is that safety on that gun. Knowing how to have the self awareness to when you're getting angry is that safety on that gun. Knowing how to have the self discipline to reel yourself back in when you know you're starting to get frustrated and maybe take some time for yourself is how you keep that safety on that gun. Knowing how to be obedient when God is sending you warning signs where you're getting beside yourself, or people around you are getting beside themselves, and you need to separate yourself so you don't intake that contagion of anger, is another safety on that gun. Knowing how to be aware of yourself and having that relationship with yourself to be like a sister or a brother to yourself and be like, all right, maybe there's a better way to do things, can not only keep you from running into so many issues, but also it's just a better way to live life. When you are constantly frustrated every single day and angry, it shows in everything that you do. And you may not be able to notice it at first, but people aren't stupid. And not only does it make it a lot harder for people to be accepting of the gift that you're meant to spread with this world, because they look at you and they assume that you are going to behave a certain kind of way because of what that filter is causing your reactions to look like. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have that balance. So, what I've been learning is that sometimes I do need to take some time for myself, and that is okay. Sometimes I do need to take some distance, and that is okay. Sometimes I do need to cut people off, and that is okay. But knowing why you're making your decisions and where that is flowing from and what filters those decisions are flowing through is what will help you to live and lead a more decisive, a more intentional, and a more holistic in terms of a whole, you're making your decisions from a whole and sound mind and not from a mind and heart that's been filtered through your experiences in a negative manner that will also influence your experiences, your future experiences in a negative manner. But yeah, you guys, like anger is like honestly, breathing lessons really, really do help. But no, there's no short escape for anger because anger is, like I said, unresolved pain, frustration, whatever it may be. So if you find yourself a little bit angrier this week, and it's not just the state of the economy and the world, then maybe take a day for yourself and take some time to understand, like, is this who I am? Is this who I want to present myself as? Is this who I want other people to see me as? Or is there a version of myself that's waiting to heal so that it can fully express all the light and the beauty within it? You know? So, we're going through another week. Well, tomorrow's going to be Friday, or today's going to be Friday when I drop this. So, we got another week ahead. I really, you guys, really do want you guys to stay focused and stay light in spirit and stay prayed up, because a lot of things are going on around you at all the time, because we live not just in a physical world but also a spiritual world. So it's very important to be able to understand the energies around you and the energies you surround yourself with, so that you're able to understand when you're the source of the negativity, or when there's negativity rubbing off on you and you need to still take time for yourself to release that. Because sometimes God will place that negativity in front of you to suck it up and spit it out, just so that not only you, but that other person can heal as well. So stay full of love, stay full of light, stay full of confidence, self-esteem, and stay understanding the magnitude of the love and the light and the sheer force of will that God is pushing through you. The sheer passion and strength to get through every single day, because life is hard. Life is hard, but our God's harder. Hey, hello. So stay prayed up, stay at peace. Don't let nothing rock you. Don't let nothing knock you out of alignment. Only person that can chop it up for you is you. And you're not going to do that. You're going to make the best and the most of every situation God's bringing to you, because you deserve it and you know that. So, stay blessed. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.